Gonna give a quick greenhouse tour, show what's growing on here in central Arkansas. This is my 8-foot vertical fawn. It's right near the front door. And on the top here you can see the strawberries are somewhat successful. That one's starting. This one didn't make it. This one might make it. Nope, that one's probably not gonna make it. This one and this one made it. Looks like that one made it. So I've got strawberries that are directly in net cups that need to be transferred to some sort of pot. Okay, on this top row I've got several brassicas. That's a broccoli and another broccoli, and it's starting to head up, which is really cool. Another broccoli. Got cauliflower and some cabbage there. Looks like another cabbage down there and cauliflower. Even got a kohlrabi there that's starting to bulb out. I got a kale, Scotch blue kale there that's coming on strong. We don't need a whole lot of kale. We can chop it up and put it in soup, so I've heard that they'll continue to make over and over, so I didn't plant but just that one. Looks like another broccoli there, a couple cabbages and cauliflower, some lettuce, different types, throw in there. So this 8-foot fawn is doing very well, I think. In the first fawn, I've got the 2 different types of peas. You can see they're starting to they're starting to get pretty long, and they're hanging over the edge here, and I just want to see how bushy they get, you know, if they'll produce kind of in a general area off the pot there. I've got some turnips, just turnip greens here, and you can see that they're quite tall. They actually need to be harvested. Those carrots that I planted in this pot are also beginning to come along very nicely. Spinach, doing very well. I'll start picking some leaves before too much longer on that. Some beets. Beets just I'm not sure they like it as cold as this. I've got some other beets over there I'll show you in just a minute, but they're not aggressive. And then again, I've got some more turnip greens there that also need to be harvested, and they'll come back. They keep coming back. In this fawn, I've got some turnips that are really packed in there, and but they're still, you know, fighting for the light, and we'll see what kind of product I get from having it that packed. I'm not gonna thin it out, just kind of testing and see how things go. The beets in this one are doing real well. They're coming along nicely. That's a different, I'm not sure which one that is. This is a different type than the other beets I just showed you. The spinach here, starting to get some good size on the leaves, and we had some spinach last night. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And more spinach, so we'll plant lots of spinach and continue to harvest it. More beets, and collard greens in the last 3 on this particular fawn. The next fawn is my pill bug planter fawn, and you can see here that I've got some lettuce. This is a cabbage head I previously harvested, and I'm just letting it grow out new leaves and see what that does. I got a butter crunch lettuce there, some beets that are a little more advanced. I got some 2-inch bulbs on those. The strawberries, you can see they're coming along pretty nicely in this pill bug planters here. I thought I'd try some brassicas in the pill bug planters. They seem to be doing really well. Another fawn pot there with a looks like a cauliflower. And I got 3 lettuces that are ready to harvest. You can kind of see from the size of my hand there. More brassicas, another lettuce. I pinched off the spinach on this one and in other pots I'll show you in just a second, and boy, that spinach is like, hey, I don't like that at all, and they started spitting out some really nice leaves after that was done. Some purple top turnips there in this particular one right here. We'll see how they grow in a kind of a confined area. And looks like a cabbage and another cauliflower there. In this particular fun, I've got more turnips. Again, mass turnip planting here. Remember the spinach I put in the blackberries? Well, I've already picked the leaves off of them, and they responded aggressively, growing big, nice spinach leaves. The blackberries themselves, because it's warmer in here, they're starting to sprout out. And I've taken cuttings off of several of these, as you can see from there, to put in the fawn cover greenhouse. I'm going to attempt to make mini plants off of these. Starting to come on here again. That blackberry. And these are Natchez, thornless blackberries. Got a small one coming up here that's been in that stage for a while. More Natchez, more Natchez. You remember this? I've already harvested two times off of this particular planter, and man, they just, look at that. It's crazy. I love it. I love that I can plant something, you know, in such a small container and get such production out of it. Beautiful. Couple brassicas. In this fawn platform, this is mainly where the root crops are going to go in corn. You can see also where I'd picked off, well, you can see where I have picked it off here, and they're starting to grow back aggressively. And I totally cannibalized this blackberry. This is a Primark 45. It's a primocane slash floricane producer. It means it produces on same year and following year canes. But it is starting to grow out in these greenhouse temps. Got some beets here, 2 different types, and I've eaten the beet leaves on these things. These things are awesome just by themselves. Don't even need to weigh on the beets. They're quite good. I think they make an excellent salad. And you can see here that these are the Alamo turnip greens, and they need to be harvested. Look how big that is. They just, so anyway, we're going to be eating some turnip greens. Spinach in the same fawn is getting quite thick, and that'll be picked, and I anticipate that, you know, I'll pick and it'll grow back in a few days, and I'll pick and I'm just going to eat the dickens out of some spinach for a while. And that's my hope, and it seems to be panning out, so good deal. This 10-foot fawn, vertical fawn, with the fawn cover over it, is doing beyond my expectations. Some of the cooler weather crops are elongating because of the heat from the radiator that's needed to seed the various summer crops, spring and summer crops here. But like you can see, that iceberg lettuce that's extending and growing tall, and this butter crunch is growing long. Now there's nothing wrong with it. It tastes great. It's just doing some weird stuff. That's a cabbage, it looks like. Some more beautiful butter crunch on the bottom. They're growing faster than the other ones. And well, my battery died on me, so I'm not sure where I left off here. I'll work it in the editing. But you can see here that the various brassicas are doing pretty darn good. Got a kohlrabi there, a cauliflower, another kohlrabi, cabbage, various brassicas. Now my onions, if you'll remember, I planted them in not only this but the ugly pots down below, and you can see the leaves have extended quite a bit. And my intent here is to get a number of leaves planted or growing on these to potentially have a little bigger bulb, and then plant them when the garden the outside garden plot's ready. So we'll see how that goes. And you can see they're all along the bottom here, and their leaves, if you actually call that a leaf, is also extending nicely. I started putting some of the transplants into cups to get a little bigger. Probably did that a little prematurely, but you can see some of the squash ones are a little leggy. Pretty good color though, and seem to be doing pretty healthy. Tomatoes, squash, I've got watermelon, cantaloupes, cucumbers, peppers, and eggplant. They're all starting to sprout pretty good. And you can see here from my blackberry, that's the one from outside, and you can kind of see that that one's starting to put out some bulb areas. Actually, that's where the leaves are going to come out. My blueberries show faint signs of potential leaf growth, but not convinced that's going to work for my blueberries yet. These are the Primark 45s, and they're definitely coming out. They're not starving for moisture, obviously. I just hope they're rooting nicely. And also the Natchez here, they're starting to leaf out as well, and hopefully they'll root it. So that's pretty much it for the covered fawn. This is the trellis fawn, and it's got two different kinds of peas in it and my carrots. And you can see here that the peas are still growing tall, but the sugar snaps haven't put on any flowers yet, but the Oregon sugar pods have. They've started flowering right there. You can see some there, and down here. So the Oregon sugar pods are starting to produce, and we'll see what happens with that. Still got some leeks I'm going to trial in these little pots. And then of course my carrots. They don't seem to have gotten too much taller, but I wonder, you know, looking down in there, how crowded they are, and if it's going to make a nice carrot for me. These are the leaves that are the tops to the carrots, and I eat these. I come out here and I snack on them. And they're, if you like carrots, you'll like those tops. It tastes like leaf carrots. It tastes like carrots, but the leaves, a little different texture, but carroty. No bitterness whatsoever. I've heard that some people say these are poisonous, and I happen to know that if they are, eventually I guess I'll be in trouble, but I'm eating the dickens out of them. The second bean fawn, or trellis fawn, I've got various things that I've moved over here to make room in the vertical covered fawn. Then they're, you know, like these leeks are going through a little bit of shock, and down there as well. The cabbages I told you about, taking the bottom leaves off of these, and you know, if you didn't know any better, you'd say, hey, that's a cute little cabbage. But I've taken the really big leaves off, and they actually, what I'm finding is they actually seem to be making them head out bigger and faster. And it sort of makes sense because a lot of the growth is not going to the bigger leaves. But my opinion on that is still out. And I've moved the bigger leaves, and it does help provide light to the adjacent plants. Just a little finish off here with the rest of what's going on. This is my really big one right here. And yeah, the head probably should be harvested pretty soon. It's kind of firm. So that's kind of it. What's going on in the greenhouse overall. Lots of stuff coming in, eating lots of stuff. Turnip greens and spinach, cabbage, beet leaves, some a little bit of leaves here and there, and it's just starting to produce now, which is very nice. Very nice. Lettuce, lots of lettuce. Anyway, this is Brent signing off, you guys.